This might be one of the biggest questions people have. What actually happens after we die? And is there something more beyond this life? Welcome, friends, to the gathering place of angels in light. Today's episode is What Happens After You Die. Stay tuned to the end to receive a collective message from our co-founder, Patti. We are Angels in Light, based in Kansas. I am Kim, co-founder of Angels in Light. I am an angelic Reiki master and past life hypnotherapist.
And I'm Patti, a lifelong psychic medium with a master's in psychology and a mission to combine the esoteric with the science and help people combine those two. We have a business in Kansas. We do retreats and personal sessions and talk about everything that everyone wants to know.
And we just bought property in Pleasanton, Kansas, where we'll be building a spiritual retreat center for all to come and enjoy, a big gathering place.
For all spiritual, like-minded people.
Stay tuned for more on that project. So I know this might be a big question, but how do we even begin to understand what happens after we die?
I know. And I think this is the most important thing to say first is that no one has all the answers in a complete, definite way. But this is just from my experience, my lifelong experience talking with people who have passed. And I've had spirit describe that there's a moment right at the end of life that isn't what people expect. It's not darkness, it's not nothingness, it's awareness. And from everything I've experienced, years of connecting with those who have crossed over, people don't just shut off, they shift. And we'll talk about that. And a lot of them don't even realize right away that they've died.
Like I've heard people report actually seeing the light move out of their family's body.
There's been reports of that. It's not common though. I've had spirits describe this feeling of lightness and freedom, almost like taking off something heavy you didn't even realize you're carrying. Some will say I was standing right there and everyone was crying, but I was okay. They come out of their body and a lot of times they stay there. Sometimes they realize that they passed and sometimes not. It depends on, obviously how they passed, if it's traumatic or not, but they're aware and they're present and they can see all their loved ones. They can see what's happening. And there's often this moment of trying to communicate, like, I'm still here. Why can't you hear me?
So how long does something like that last for the deceased?
This is something I've seen over and over again. They'll stay close for a short period, usually a few days, but they're not trapped. They're not stuck. They're just present and they'll sit with loved ones. They'll be in the home and they'll even attend their own services. And they're just trying to comfort, their loved ones that are still here. And a lot of times I'll have people describe they'll feel them around them, especially right after the passing and they know they're there. But a lot of times they're so heavy in grief that it's hard for them to get past that cloud of their own emotions and talk with them.
That's a very good point to help the ones who are still here, even though you're grieving so much, somehow understand that they're still here. Then the connection between you and the loved one grows stronger.
Yeah. I've had readings where someone describes their own, funeral in detail, like things no one had shared yet. And the energy during this time isn't heavy. It's actually very loving. They're just trying to comfort the people they're leaving behind. And it's the ones that are here that feel that heaviness, but they're okay. They don't feel the grief they're just trying to comfort you because they see you crying and being sad.
It's hard not to be when you lose someone very close to you.
I know.
To, place your emotions aside just so in those first 3 to 5 days when they're still closer to you.
I know. I think that's why this subject is so important to talk about because, it is a traumatic time, especially losing someone. If you're having awareness that they're okay, I'm hoping that will make the people that lost those people better and okay and more aware.
The living kind of cheats themselves in some ways, from within those first few days.
Exactly.
If we could just understand that just as dying is part of life and understand that it's not the end and it's just a shift.
Hmm.
Energy never dies, your soul never dies.
Yeah, that's science. Energy never dies. It just transforms into something different. And we're all energy. And so we're just transforming and shifting into a different form of energy. But it doesn't mean that we lost it.
And then we just have to learn how to communicate differently with our loved ones who have crossed over.
After those 3 to 5 days, there's a shift. Something changes, and it's subtle. But the soul has described that they feel a pull. It's not forced and it's not scary, but it's like they kind of remember that they're meant to go somewhere. And this is when the light appears. And we'll do a part two about, the ones that choose not to go towards the light and stay here on this plane. There's a lot of different reasons for that, but I would say 90 to 95% of souls decide to go to this light.
And you will have a wonderful story. I guess we could say wonderful story about why in a past life that you decided not to go to the
Exactly.
light that lasted
That.
several hundred years. So
Yes.
yes,
I was
we'll
on this plane as a
yes.
ghost.
So we'll touch
Mhm.
on that in our next podcast. So they feel a pull, and it's a light that's guiding them.
A lot of people that have had, NDEs, near death experiences, have described it perfectly too. There's lots of information out there about this. And the imagery that comes through is about a tunnel. It's not just a tunnel, it's a transition. It's a movement from one state of being into another. And so I describe it as like going across the veil. So they're
Mm-hmm.
going from, this 3D plane up into the other plane. And it's hard to describe because it's not just light, it's just this intelligence, this love, this familiarity. It's pure, unconditional love. And there's this overwhelming sense of peace. And they begin moving towards it. And it's just like this attraction. And some souls don't want to go in at first. I've heard that a lot from them that passed over because they're so worried about their family because they're seeing
Ah,
their family in grief and they're seeing them crying over them, which is understandable, but they're,
mm-hmm.
have this hold back on here, this plane, but the overwhelming love and peace and this knowing that they're going to be okay. My family's going to be okay. And they begin
Mm-hmm.
moving towards it.
Wow, as you're describing that, I'm, I'm feeling that overwhelming peace and
Mhm.
unconditional love that we once
Yeah.
all felt at one time as spirit.
And it's almost like, oh, I remember this.
Mm-hmm.
It's a remembrance. This is so familiar and this is what I've been missing my whole life. And this is like, I've touched on this with different instances, like from loved ones and love. But the whole, so hard to describe. It's just your whole essence just feels this, a little part of your brain or your heart. It's so over consuming. When spirits are trying to describe this, it's hard to even compute because we
Yeah,
don't.
because we as humans can't understand that level of unconditional love.
No,
When I asked that question, the lack of words.
there is a lack of words.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can try like how you feel with your child. You have those moments where you just want to hold on and hug them and you have that unconditional love and
Mm-hmm.
times that by a million. And that's what it.
Yes.
And so after they go through this light, that's when you have the reunion. And it's one of the most emotional part. And
Mm-hmm.
they're not alone when they arrive. They're greeted and not by strangers. And they're met by loved ones who have passed, guides that feel deeply familiar, and even pets.
How who decides who greets you? Who are the ones that would be the ones to greet you?
They're your soul family. They're ones that you have connections with.
Mm-hmm.
So guides, that have signed a contract to watch over you in that life, and they come and greet you, and they're like, "Yay, you made it!
Congratulations. The finish line is
Yay, you're
here.
here! Let's reconnect!" And you know them instantly. You're like, "Oh yeah, blah
Yeah.
blah blah." Loved ones, a lot of them that you don't even know in this life. They could be from past lives. It's a whole crowd. I've seen hundreds and hundreds of people greeting different
I
pets. I mean, it's not like a small group. It's a lot.
wow. So
Beautiful soul reunion.
hmm.
recognition. It's childhood pets. It's everyone and anything that is connected to your soul. And they're just, yay. It's like this big celebration that you came home. It's like a homecoming. Like you were off to war and you came
Yes,
home.
yes.
You're a hero.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you can say it's like going off to war and returning, you know.
Yes. That's the
Yes.
closest way I can describe it. Is like they had banners, they'd be holding the banners up, like, woohoo.
Oh my gosh, that is such a good analogy because you made it. You made it back.
And you're still yourself.
So you
And
still are who you are when you were on the earth plane.
yes, we still have the essence of who we are. So you have your essence of your personality and your
Mm-hmm.
energy, and that doesn't disappear. But there's also a deeper awareness. You remember who you were in all your different lives. You remember you're still you, but without the limitations you had here. You expanded. It's you looking at everything from a bigger, wider perspective
And
and
when do you
knowing
recognize that?
as soon as you cross over
Oh, wow.
and
Okay.
you're meeting your all your loved ones and you're having that big celebration,
Mm.
everything comes back to you instantly.
Oh, oh, that makes sense. So then these people who are dressed in period clothing, you'll know who they are because the fragment of who your essence was in that lifetime all comes back to you so you can recognize who that person is or
Exactly.
that spirit is. Hmm.
Yes,
And it's just so important that people understand this process and not
it
to be
is.
afraid.
Because we're all going to go through it at one point. Because that is every time I talk to someone who's passed, that's all they care about is to comfort and it's okay and we're okay and don't worry about us and we're just waiting for you. I said over
Yes.
and over, we're just waiting for you. But not every soul that crosses over at first is in a calm or peaceful state. So that's something that's really important. I mean, we have trauma and shock and
Mm,
emotional pain and confusion. So it just depends on, how they died. If it was traumatic or they had a really hard life, which if they were tortured or, something awful, they're not judged. They're instantly put into, I call it a healing pod, and they're
mm-hmm,
healing spaces. And so after they greet their soul family and their souls that they know, they're gently placed into this, it's almost like a crystalline chamber. And it looks like a egg and it's made out of this. The only way I could describe it is like a crystal. It's like this
mm-hmm.
blue, white crystal egg. That's what they've shown me.
Wow.
It heals them. It's a place to rest, a place to recover. It's just pure compassion in form.
About the pod, is it solid blue and white or swirls or
It's like swirls, like a swirly crystal, and it has like energy moving through it, and it interacts with your soul energy, and it's like this intense healing, and they stay in there as long as they need. It could be months. I've that's why sometimes when people try to connect with the medium after someone had just passed, they can't because they're in these healing pods. And I've run into that a few times. Like, someone will pass a week ago and they'll come and try to talk to them. And I'm like, I can't talk to them. They're in a healing pod at the moment. And as soon as they come out and they're better and they're healed,
mm-hmm.
then they'll come talk.
So that time frame could be days, weeks,
Months.
years?
I've never seen years. The most I've
Okay.
seen is about 6 months. And that's for someone that's like really traumatic. But time's different. Is completely different over there than it is here. Like, a minute over there is a year here, is the
Hmm.
closest I can describe it. It's just very, very different timing. So they could be in that pod for years and it would be a month here. Yeah.
So it's like a healing pod, would you call
That's
it?
what I call it, a healing pod, a healing center.
Mm-hmm.
It's an individualized healing that is just made for them to heal any tears or rips in their soul or traumatic events, anything that doesn't need to be there that they experienced. And then next, I want to talk about a sensitive topic, and I want to speak about it with care. But what I've experienced, souls who pass this way are not met with anger or punishment, is suicide. They're met with compassion and understanding and deep healing that kind of connects with the pod. So if someone commits suicide, they don't even meet with they don't go through the tunnel, they don't go through and meet with their loved ones. It's instant pod. They instantly go in that healing pod.
Okay. I did not know that.
That's why, so they can process what they're feeling and be supported and healed. And then after they're done with that, then they can meet their ones on the other side. But usually, if someone decides to end their life early, they need the most healing and they just instantly go in.
And then once they've been in the pod for a while, then they'll get their reunion.
Then they'll get the reunion. Exactly. And then they'll go
Yeah.
through their life review, which we'll talk
Mhm.
about.
What about the soul that passed because of an abortion?
That's another subject that a lot of people are curious about, and where a lot of people carry a lot of fear is children and babies and abortion, that, souls that die young. But what I've consistently experienced is something very different. The souls of children are incredibly aware. And so, in many cases, they are connected to their parents at a soul level, even before birth. For miscarriages or abortion, these souls are not harmed at all. They're not lost, they're held in love, and they stay connected energetically to the parents. It's a lot of times like a soul contract. So it's the parents asked to have a lesson delivered to them for
Hmm.
whatever reason. Maybe they had to learn grief or they had to learn letting go. But the souls of these children and babies are not lost at all. They stay with you, and a lot of times they'll return later in another pregnancy. I would say 99% of the time they come later, or they'll, come in a different lifetime, but they remain a part of your soul. They remain a part of the soul connection in different ways. There's
They,
no
s-
anger on their part. There's no blame. There's only
mm.
love. And they love you so much that they wanted to help you in your soul journey.
So sometimes abortions, miscarriages, stillbirths,
Children dying young.
hmm dying young.
Um, a high percentage of them make contracts with the people who are going to be hurt by it to lovingly move forward their soul expansion, and they will keep in energetic connection with them and come back into their life. And it could be switched, like maybe one lifetime you did it for them and they're giving it back to you. There's so many different variations of why this would happen, but it's never like blamed or, oh, you're going to go to hell for giving an abortion. That never. It was a pre-contract that you had to learn a lesson for.
As a way to comfort those who have been through this, the bottom line is that soul will always be connected to you.
That soul will always be connected to you.
Whether they
They're going to
come
be first
back,
in the line after you passed over. You know,
yes, whether they come back again, come back as your child,
they'll come back as your child.
they could come
I've
back
even
as
seen, I
another.
mean, very rare, but I've seen them come back as pets. I know, but they're always, or they'll just float around and help guide you. If you are a male or you can't have, children or whatever it is, they'll just stick around and help guide you. They become one of your guides.
Oh, wow, they could become one of your guides.
They can become one of your guides too and help you through the lifetime. And uh, that's one of the hardest lessons that people choose is to go through that. I mean, losing a child or a pregnancy or anything like that is not an easy lesson to learn. And they know
Mm.
that and are so caring and compassionate and loving. And there's only love.
Yes, there's only love.
And the same with people that decide they're in their life early. There's only love. There's no anger or punishment. They just had a hard time processing the life and what they're going through and decided to check out early.
And
But
they
there's no
thought that was the best choice for them.
that they at the
Felt.
time they felt that was the
Mm-hmm.
best choice. What's interesting about that is a lot of times after I talked to them, it was an instant. As soon as they did it, it was an instant regret. And that's why they go into the healing spaces first, and so do the children and the babies. They go into the healing spaces and then they'll
Mm-hmm.
come back out and stick to you.
So after the healing pods, what happens next?
After the healing pods, there comes one of the most profound parts of the after death journey, and it's called the life review. So, a lot of past ones show me walking into a room, and there are higher beings. It's not judgment, though, these are just your guides, and I call it the judgment review. But judgment is so looked at wrong. They're not
Mm-hmm.
judging what you did, they're helping you to look at your life, the good and the bad, and you decide if it was what you signed up for. Your life fully, you feel what you felt, what others felt because of you, and the ripple effects of your actions. So you're experiencing it from all sides. You're experiencing, your actions against others, and then how that affected them, and then how they affected others. The ripples of how you lived your life.
And I understand that at this stage, if there was going to be any kind of a painful moment of passing, this would be it.
Yes. And it's not painful in the sense is how we feel pain. It's more of like a dang it. It's like, well, I messed that one up. It's more of a,
Yeah.
moments you forgot suddenly matter. Small kindnesses feel huge, and
Yes.
and painful moments are understood in a completely different way. The clearest truth comes through in this,
Mm-hmm.
and you realize that everything was about love. That's
Mm.
that's one of the biggest things that they tell me after they come out of this life review. It's not about feeling the pain, or it's how much love did I give and how much love did I take, and how much
Mm.
experiences and love and truth did I spread and help other people. Everything was about love.
Everything is about love.
Yeah. And if, you gave a drop instead of a cup, then a lot of them say, well, I could have gave a cup, but instead I gave a drop of love. So I need to
Mm.
go back and I need to fix this, this, and this. And that's basically all it is. It's just, I didn't give enough love. So let's go back and this time I'm going to experience it better and do a better job.
So you, as the soul, reviews this, all of
You
this.
as a soul sit there
Mhm.
and review it.
And you see where you perhaps could have done it a little differently.
Exactly. Like if you signed up for a certain lesson and you believe that you could learn that lesson different or
Mm-hmm.
better, then afterwards you sit down and be like, okay, let's do this lesson again, but we're going to do it
Mm-hmm.
a little different. So maybe this time I can actually get it, Th- everyone, all the souls say that they're own worst critic. And it's not
Mm.
about anyone else judging you. It's not about anyone else saying, oh, you're an awful person and you need to
Mm-hmm.
redo it. It's you. It's yourself. You're sitting there going, oh man, I
Yeah.
kind of screwed that one up.
Yeah. I should have helped that turtle cross the road.
Exactly. I should have,
Yeah.
gave more love to this person because then they would have spread this love.
Yeah.
That's all it is. You're your own worst critic.
So it could even be interaction with strangers, people you haven't really had a relationship with, but just that moment of
Just that moment you see
mm-hmm, how
how you affected other souls and how they affected you.
so if you gave that homeless person a bottle of water or a sandwich or something, or
Hmm.
little snack bag like you and your sons do. You can see how that moment affected that one individual.
Yep. And how it
Mm-hmm.
spread and how it helped them. But if you did not good things,
Mm-hmm.
and you get to experience all that, I'll tell you,
You tell me.
they say that's not the best thing to experience
I can
because
imagine.
you're experiencing, if you did a bad thing and you're experiencing the ripple effect and how it affected everybody. Murdered someone, you get to experience how their children felt about it and their children's children and the ripple
Ugh,
effect of the loss of that life you took.
wow.
So
That's
it's not fun.
that's huge.
So that is really the only quote unquote judgment is you judging yourself. And then after you come out of that, then you can have the fun part and visit your loved ones. And
And you'll definitely need the support after that.
this is the part that brings so much comfort is they don't just cross over and disappear and they come back down and visit. So after they're done with the healing and the reunion and the review and they have an awareness of everything that happened, then they come back down and see how you're doing. I can't tell you how many times I've connected with someone's grandmother and the energy that comes through instantly is just loving and warm. And they'll say things like, I sit with her in the mornings, I watch the kids, I was there when she was crying.
Oh,
And the person will stop and say, oh my God, I felt that. I felt she
oh,
was around me.
that's so beautiful.
And they'll just come and hang out and watch and help and connect.
I remember when my grandmother passed, I had a friend who was a medium too, and my grandma wanted me to have the message to know that she was in the room. And so I guess I was watching the old show, oh my gosh, Cheers.
Uh-huh.
And so she said, it's that lady that Christy Alley or whatever her name was, and so I knew that grandma was there at the time of while I was watching that show, which was so comforting to know.
It is so comforting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they'll sit near you while you rest. And they're not just like watching and judging, they're just being present.
Mm-hmm.
And they just want to comfort and they're sending, love and good vibes. They'll
Mm-hmm.
be there like during emotional moments. They'll show up during milestones like graduations, like big events. I just love coming
Mm.
to visit. They'll visit you in dreams. Dreams are a big one because your mind's quiet. They don't lose who they are. So your grandfather is still your grandfather, and your mom's still your mom, and their personality comes through clearly. But it's like the body drops away, and the essence of who they were becomes even stronger.
So are there any way for us to know if a loved one has visited us?
They love leaving little hints. Birds, animals. They love using them as messengers or scents are a big one.
Oh, like perfume or
Perfume.
cigars,
Uh-huh.
smell of chocolate chip cookies and the oven's not on.
Exactly. They try to remind you that they're there all the time. Children can see them, animals can see them. A lot of the messages that, people get from past loved ones is true. And I think they overthink it or they question it and they're like, oh, I'm just making that up. And I can personally say that when someone says, oh, I thought I felt my father, next to me last night. And I'm like, well, because he was. He was right
Mm-hmm.
there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So just trust.
Just trust.
Trust that what you feel or sense is true.
100% of the time it is. You're not making
Mm-hmm.
it up. You're not wishing that it was them. And so you're delusional. That's not true. They are there. They're visiting all the time. They love when you talk to them. And a lot of times they're just there. They're just being with you. They're sending you good vibes and love and support, watching you. It's funny because a lot of people say, oh, well, it's kind of creepy that they're just there and they're watching me do everything. It's not the same. They're not watching you sleep at night, you know?
Mhm. They
It
have
doesn't have
things to do too.
exactly. They're not watching you go to the bathroom. You know, it's not the same. They're there just to help you in any way they can get through the rest of your life.
Is there any advice you can give that could help people get past this doubtfulness that their loved ones communicated with them, or their fear of being crazy if they think that their loved one is sitting next to them? Is there any advice you can give to help them overcome that?
You can always ask them to send you a sign. They love that for that confirmation. So if you say, oh, ask them like, okay, if you're really questioning that they're around you, okay, grandma, can you really like come up with something completely random? Can you, if you're around me, can you send me a blue balloon in any way? And be really open, about how you see it because it could be in a book, it could be on TV, it could
Yes.
be, it doesn't have to be like an actual physical blue balloon. 100% of times that they will send it to you.
I mean, it could be a wrapper on a candy bar.
Exactly.
Just be open.
Be open. They will send it to you.
Mm-hmm.
And don't abuse that because I see people do all like
Yes.
they start questioning again and it
Mm-hmm.
can drive you nuts if you go in circles. So one and
Mm-hmm.
done, and then just enjoy it and bask in the energy and talk to them and laugh and they're always around you.
You know, you mentioned about talking to your loved ones. I think
Hmm.
another good one is to journal or write your loved ones a letter.
Yeah.
And if you don't feel comfortable talking out loud in case somebody overhears you and then they're calling the straitjacket people, but if
Hmm.
you want to sit down and quiet and write them a letter,
That's
if you
perfect. They'll read it.
they'll read it. And if you're really quiet your mind, you can hear them answer you.
You can. It's just they're still here. They're just in another form of energy
Hmm.
that's just around you. And time is different over there too. Time's not the same for them. So there's no waiting. There's no, it's been years. It's like everything exists in an expanded now. So when they visit you, it doesn't feel like they've been gone. It feels like I was just with you. It's really different. Like to them, the rest of your life is just a blink of an eye.
So like if
It's
somebody passed like a year ago and they come to visit you, it felt like they had just left.
exactly. Or someone passed when you were a child. And you're like,
Mm.
wow, why would they keep visiting me? It's been so
Mm-hmm.
many years and I haven't heard from them and whatever. No, they're still, it's been minutes to them. They're still
Mm-hmm.
checking in, they're still visiting, and they're not waiting for you. They're just, I was just with you. It's time is not the same for them. Everything exists now.
Mm-hmm.
That's such a hard concept for us to wrap our mind around.
It is.
This life
It,
we're living right now is incredibly brief, but from their
yes.
perspective, it's a moment.
It's a bleep.
It's a blink of an eye. It's just, oh, okay, you were gone. Yay, you're back. You just left the door, but now you're
I
back.
just went to the grocery store and you are already here, you know?
Uh-huh. It's just a
So
chapter. It's not the whole story.
so enjoy the time you have here and learn as much as you can and
So
help
the
as
things
much as
that
you
we
can.
stress about don't carry the same weight. So they see us, struggling and stressing and they're just sitting there sending their energetic vibes to us. Like it'll be okay.
Yeah.
You'll be good. This is just a brief moment, like
Yeah.
literally a fraction of a second in your whole life. And they're just sending the good love and support.
Yeah. It's so freeing when you describe what it's like across the
Mhm.
veil.
So if there's one thing I want everyone to take from this, is that you're not alone when you die, ever. You're not abandoned. And it's not just nothing. You're met and you're held and you're understood and you're brought into a space that feels more like home than anything you've ever known. It is home. You're literally going home. And this is just a school. And you go home and you help people back on the school. There's never a loss of connection ever. If anything, it's more close because they know everything about you on the other side. So that's another thing that's really cool is if there was any kind of misunderstandings or loss of connection or
Yeah.
bad feelings that you had with someone that passed,
Mm-hmm.
they see the bigger picture. They know everything. They've already
Mm-hmm.
forgiven you. They've already cleared up all the misunderstandings. They know everything because they went through their life review. So that is absolutely amazing. So when you're thinking like, oh, do they still hate me for this? Or, I
Yeah,
wish I would have told them this, that I love them. And that they know
they know.
everything.
They
They know.
know. Yeah.
Get rid of that guilt, get rid of that regret and that misunderstandings and,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I wish I would have told my my husband that, this and this and this.
Mm-hmm.
He knows everything. He
So
knows
they've
all
let
your
it.
good. He knows all your bad. He knows all your past
Mm-hmm.
lives. He knows
Mm-hmm.
why he had that life with you.
Right.
Everything.
And that's another whole topic.
That is a whole nother topic. But I just want to let people know that regret and that guilt and that I wish they would have known this. I wish they would have known that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they've forgiven it all. They've let it go. So it's best you do also.
You're holding on to stuff that you shouldn't be.
Because all that does is hinder your growth.
And that is, I think, when I talk to spirits, their number one message: do not let my passing, do not let your grief or your regret or misunderstandings or anything like that hold
Mm-hmm.
you back. I'm
Yes.
good. I'm loved. I'm at home
Mm-hmm.
and you'll be here soon too. And the time you have left, shine and love and do the best you
Mm-hmm.
can. And we'll help you through it.
And if you're, as a human, still here in body, have trouble letting go, the what has always helped me is having a session with the medium. And
Exactly.
yeah, and you can have these conversations that you couldn't have because there's too much emotions here on this
Hmm.
planet and that's on this plane that you weren't able to resolve whatever the differences were then. You'll be
Yes.
able to have those conversations when they're on across the veil.
And
And
they'll
it's
help you understand, okay,
yes.
this is why this happened because we had this past life together where, we did this to each other. And when you pass, you'll be able to see everything too.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times that could be part of the life choice lesson too, is they pass early because you had to experience that
Right.
loss and grief and healing.
Right. It's
And
hard to understand that.
to be able to recognize that and know that is part of your lesson.
It's hard to understand that at first, but then when you
Mhm.
can get a clear understanding of the reason why, it's hard, it's easier, less painful to move forward.
It is the best healing's time and
Mm-hmm.
connection. So the closer you can hold on, I mean, I think that's another misunderstanding is a lot of people say, "Oh, you need to let go of them and you need to
Mm-hmm.
move on with your life and don't be in grief." Well, grief never goes
Mm.
away.
Never goes away.
It never goes away. To be able to hold on to your memories and hold on to their essence, they're around you. They never go away. And to be able to come to terms with, okay, you're with me, but you're a different, energetic form, but you're still with me. Let's hold hands and you can guide me forward and guide me into this next chapter of my life.
So grief will always be there. It just changes form, and you learn to live with it. And grief, hard to say, but it's the truth, is a gift because there is so much to learn when you've lost a loved one.
And so much to go through. And, but just knowing that they're still with you and they're okay, I think that's a huge process
Yes.
in helping with that grief and helping you live your life to the fullest potential.
Well, this was a wonderful conversation with you, Patty, and I appreciate your time.
You're welcome.
So it's now time for Patty to pull a card for a collective message, please.
Yes. We'll pull an oracle card. And this is perfect. It's divinely guided.
Divinely guided? Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
Oh, I know, right?
Ah, uh-huh.
Trust the wisdom of the universe and remain open to receive guidance
Oh
as
my.
your journey through life's mysteries commence. Now, isn't that perfect? If you don't take anything else away, just take to trust. Trust
Mm-hmm.
spirit, trust in love, and that you're being guided, and you don't have to figure out everything in this lifetime. The point here is to experience a human life. You can have the ascension and know what happens afterwards, but you don't have to know, every nitty gritty detail because you're going to know that when you go in your other energetic form.
Mm-hmm.
So smell the flowers and frolic in the field and
Build a sandcastle.
exactly. Don't put your feet in the dirt, Enjoy being human. I know it's enlightening and everything to get caught up in, what happens in the esoteric field. But at the end of the day, we're here to be human.
Yes. We came back to be human, so just embrace it.
Embrace and use this information to better your life, to enhance your life, and to help you get over hurdles.
So if any of this resonated with you, trust that your awareness is here for a reason. You just have to start listening to it. Thanks, everyone.